people start to talk, people start to think, people start to realize how money's made, people start to realize it's all a scam.
You shout like that, they put you in jail right away.
You say, become super rich so that the government can't just tell you what to do, otherwise they take away your paycheck.
Right to jail.
I have absolute respect for the police. I would hate to live in a country where if you call the police saying women are being held against their will, that the police don't respond.
Right to jail, right away.
The truth is this, so
Jail.
here's how cancellation works.
You right to jail.
I drive at the speed limit, my friend.
Also jail.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny, the Andrew Tate update. There has been some huge revelations made in this trial, including, but not limited to, multiple victims coming forward saying they really like Andrew Tate, and they don't accuse him of doing anything wrong at all. They were never human trafficked or raped or whatever. These are women on the record that Romanian authorities are using in a case against Andrew Tate, and his lawyer saying that there's zero evidence to hold Andrew Tate in custody right now, but hold Andrew Tate in custody they are doing. This a Romanian news source stating that police are keeping Andrew Tate in custody, in detention in Romania. He loses a bid to end his detention. Controversial British online American influencer Andrew Tate has lost a bid to end his detention in Romania. Tate was detained alongside his brother Tristan last month as part of an investigation into allegations of human trafficking. Authorities say that the pair, with true Romanian nationals, were running an organized crime group. The police will continue to hold the group for 30 days after a court rejected the appeal. Mr. Tate was seen carrying a copy of the Quran into the Bucharest Appeals Court. He was handcuffed to his brother. Mario Naftal, who's been a really great reporter on this subject, big Twitter influencer here, is saying, what does Andrew Tate's appeal being rejected mean? Well, it's important to remember the Tate brothers were initially jailed to ensure that they do not flee the country. As expected, the appeal was rejected. So what's next? The Tate brothers will now remain in jail for a minimum of 30 days. One of three things could happen. They could get an extension of another 3 months in jail, go under supervised house arrest, ankle bracelets and the such, or get released, pretrial conditions. If they get released, they will need to report regularly to the police station, not be allowed to leave the country. If Tate is released in 30 days, what do you think the next step should be? Now, this follows, of course, some pretty stunning reporting, ladies and gentlemen, that Andrew Tate could be kept for another 180 days in prison in Romania for allegations. So Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, is free and freed after committing the most heinous financial crime in human history. And Andrew Tate, who has had no evidence presented against him and has not been found guilty of anything, again, we're innocent until proven guilty here on this channel, remains in prison and may remain in prison for quite a while before a trial. What's going on here? Two women who claimed to be on the prosecutor's list of 6 Andrew Tate victims say they were never abused. This from the Daily Mail. Beatrice and Jasmina say that they have never accused the Tate brothers of wrongdoing. They claim to have been named as victims by Romanian prosecutors. Anti-trafficking prosecutors say they identified as sex-alleged victims. 2 women who claim to be named among the accusers of Andrew Tate say they were friends with him. They never filed any complaints with police. The influencers, here they are right here, the influencers, named Beatrice and Jasmina, have tattoos saying Tate Girl on their body, and they see millionaire webcam king as part of their family. Prosecutors say that they identified 6 women in a human trafficking case subject to acts of physical violence and mental coercion, sexually exploited by the group. One of the 6 alleged accused the brothers of rape, so that's where that charge comes from. This is Andrew Tate being brought into custody, actually not brought into custody, being brought into the court with his brother there. And they are going into court. This is the Tate compound there in Bucharest, the outskirts of Bucharest. This is inside of the compound. These are that's one of the influencers who is defending Tate. It's very curious. So Andrew Tate, the victims are actually defending Andrew Tate. You can listen to them defend Andrew Tate here.
Hi, I will also like to say a thing. I think it's pretty embarrassing that 9 months after the first raid in April last year, we gave our statements in which clearly we said we weren't the victims. It wasn't until a couple of days ago, I think. Yeah, a couple of days ago that we found out about the whole situation. So I'm pretty annoyed and upset, and I don't understand why this is
Okay,
happening.
just a second, because I have to speak in my language for all the people. Please tell me about your connection between Beatrice and between Tate brothers.
Between Beatrice and the Tate brothers.
So, I mean, they go on to talk about how they engaged in a business deal. Do you like what Andrew Tate did? Do you like webcam girls? I mean, listen, that's on you, man. That's on you. I am particularly anti-porn, and I believe that it's really eroding and degrading to men. And I believe also that it's a bit of a curse. But however, what is the line of criminal illegality here as it pertains to Andrew Tate? You don't have to agree with the way Andrew Tate makes money or have to agree with him at all on anything to say, well, wait a second, you have to show evidence of a crime. And if the people who are being used against you, saying that you were sex trafficked or something or held against your will, if those people are saying that Andrew Tate, as the reporter Mario Naftal says here, was like family to them, the allegations are untrue and unfair, and this case is built on lies, well, then you have a major issue there. And it starts to seed into the idea that this is a political persecution of Andrew Tate, because Andrew Tate has very inconvenient opinions for the people in charge. Top of mind comes that the young men need to stop trusting the authority figures who come after and persecute people who are inconvenient to their messages, that all young men should be scared of their masculinity, should be feminized, or should be pushed into the meat grinder of pointless, useless wars. Now, Andrew Tate says that and preaches that a lot. That makes him enemy number one for our elites. And Andrew Tate had this to say about, well, what will happen to him. See if you can mark the points where all of this has come true.
The truth is this. So I knew it was coming. I absolutely not knew it was coming because of how orchestrated it was. The only thing, and I'll state this at the beginning, the only reason I'm upset by being canceled is because I've expired one of my lives. Because first you get canceled, then they make up a reason to put you in jail. And if that fails, they kill you. So now I'm down to my last 2 lives, which is also why while I'm answering this question, I'm still being careful how I'm answering it. I'm not telling you
Scary
everything.
shit.
It's scary because they've given me the warning and I'm still running my mouth.
Well, he's still running his mouth. And so here's the warning. Here's Andrew Tate walking into this trial that he lost to remain in prison. Andrew Tate is carrying a copy of the Quran there as he walks into the courtroom in Romania. Now, what is happening to Andrew Tate? His assets. Andrew Tate, obviously, pretty flamboyant. He's got some mansions, got a very successful career, business, got some cars. Andrew Tate is having his compounds raided and many of his possessions repossessed by Romania as part of the human trafficking investigation. Police say that 7 homes in the counties of Bucharest, Lvov, and Pavova have been raided in order to obtain further evidence in the investigation of Tate, who's been called the king of toxic masculinity. But that's not a crime. Being toxically masculine is not a crime. And right now, they haven't presented any evidence of a crime, actually. According to the lawyer of Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers' lawyer breaks his silence. This is the interview with the Romanian publication. We'll summarize the key points. Check this out. So we can play the interview here, but it's in Romanian, and the captions are hard to follow. So let's follow along here. Recent interview. Eunice Valdec, Tate's lawyer, opens up about the inability of the defense to face victims of the accused over the reliance of the court on so-called extrajudiciary evidence and more. Eugene complained that the defense only had a chance to study the prosecution file for 45 minutes before the start of the hearing. Until the 7th of January, a criminal investigation file was not made available to them. This is extremely strange, very curious, and peculiar. Numerous electronic devices were confiscated from the Tates on 11th of April. Some of them have not been returned to them, and enough time has lapsed for the data to be extracted from those devices. There's not a single piece of evidence to back up the rape charges, apart from a victim's statement. You have to have a lot higher of a degree than someone's word to lock someone up for rape in any country. The Tate brothers are being prosecuted on the basis of extrajudicial evidence. That means reports that were not requested by the court. In other words, the victim went to random psychologists, chosen on the basis of the victim's own criteria and the basis of the conversion an expert reported issued. This is not considered a real expert report, according to Eugene. Here comes the hot question. How can the accusations be based on extrajudicial evidence, and how could the same be justified on the basis for issuing an order for preventative detention? The victims making the statements are no longer in Romania and not available for Tate's defense. As American citizens, the Tate brothers are entitled to consular assistance from the U.S. Embassy. They've already proactively requested this type of support from detention. In that context, they've asked the U.S. embassies in Romania for accurate translation of every piece of document and text pertaining to the court proceeding. The Tates are terrified after reading the initial version of the translated documents conducted by the court translator. Eugene further considers there's no solid evidence for the remaining two charges either, human trafficking and organized crime. For example, there's no proper description of the hierarchy of organized crime group, the functions of each person in that group, and the victims that are being presented as victims having the status of injured party ever filing a complaint against the Tates. In other words, the Romanian authorities here, DIICOT, which is the Romanian secret police that raided Andrew Tate's compound with professional cameras and lighting equipment. How much World Economic Forum money is like pouring into Romania because they were able to take out the guy who was critical of their queen, Greta Thunberg? Anyway, this Romanian authority is presenting them as victims even though they do not have any prior complaints at the time, and therefore there cannot be 6 prior complaints. Tate brothers are not sure why, after fully cooperating with a house search on April 11th, which resulted in several electronic devices being confiscated, the new house search resulted in some of the same devices being confiscated. Eugene says that Andrew Tate considers his statements about Romania being a corrupt country as being taken out of context. According to him, Andrew Tate is speaking of the corruption of the border region in Romania, so on and so forth. In other words, intent displayed on social media cannot stand alone as evidence in a criminal prosecution. So obviously, Mario going deep in here, the Tates were accused of human trafficking. Earlier this year, Andrew Tate was on Tucker Carlson's show and had this to say in his defense.
So news accounts in the United States say that the U.S. Embassy in Bucharest, Romania, was tipped off to your misdeeds and alerted the local authorities you might be committing human trafficking. Given that this is the same charge they leveled against Julian Assange or a species of it, skeptical, but I want to know the details. Were you arrested for human trafficking? What happened?
Yeah, I was not arrested. So what happened is I suffered from a case of swatting. It's very popular with people who are large on the internet. Many large YouTubers have been swatted. It's where you call the police and you say somebody has a gun or there's a hostage situation and the SWAT team arrives. Somebody made a phone call to the American embassy saying that I was holding women at my house. The police arrived. And let me state this now. I state this openly to the world. I have absolute respect for the police. I would hate to live in a country where if you call the police saying women are being held against their will, that the police don't respond. That would be terrible. Of course they should come and look. Absolutely. They turned up. They investigated. They realized that nobody was in the house against their will. There was no crime committed. They said, okay, you're not a suspect, but you are a witness to this, along with me, my brother, the housekeeper, the gardener. Everybody who was in the premises at the time was labeled a witness. We had to go to the police station for 45 minutes for pieces of paper. We filled them in and we were let go. I was swatted. Nobody was hurt. There's no human trafficking.
Yeah, there's no human trafficking is what Andrew Tate says in his defense. And listen, according to these updates from on the ground in Romania, this looks really deeply curious. This seems as though it is an attack, a meditated and organized and orchestrated attack on Andrew Tate in order to essentially malign and destroy him, to kick him off the internet, and to obviously lock him up. Judge discloses the real reason why Andrew Tate was detained for another 30 days in prison. This thread goes on to essentially say that Andrew Tate has the power and the wealth to flee the country. The judge considers that the setting the accused prisoner free presents a risk of them escaping the country to a country that Romania doesn't have extradition treaty with, which would be Dubai, for instance. Andrew Tate has a home in Dubai. At least we think so. Andrew Tate does a lot of videos in Dubai, drives his cars through the desert and things like that. And so that's what we would assume that he would flee to. Well, this entire operation stinks of extreme corruption. So, in summary, multiple women who are being used in a criminal complaint against Andrew Tate say that they have no complaint with Andrew Tate and that they like Andrew Tate and that this is all predicated on a lie. The other accusers of Andrew Tate are not in the country and will not be allowed to face the accused facing the accuser. That seems curious. Also, they didn't file police reports. That's also curious. What? Huh? Okay. Again, we're just adding all this up here. Andrew Tate's lawyer saying that they haven't had any access to the criminal complaint file, and the access that they did get, they found absolutely no crimes in there. No evidence of any crimes. And Andrew Tate saying that they've cooperated with the authorities, hand in glove. So why the renewed persecution of Andrew Tate? Well, good question. You don't have to be a defender of Andrew Tate. You don't have to be in favor of what he does or how he makes his money to say that this absolutely reeks of a political persecution for somebody who's inconvenient for those in power. Andrew Tate predicted all of it, of course, in this now famous video.
Most common tactic in the world. First, they insult your character and attack you. It's stage one of the three stages. They attack you, your character, and cancel you. They put you in jail for something you did not do. And the last is they kill you. And I'll make it very clear here. I would never kill myself under any circumstances, ever. Ever. And if I like to think that if anybody sees a media article where I've been locked up for whatever it is, they're going to look at it and go, this is bullshit. Tate didn't do that. With the scrutiny I'm under, does anyone think I'm breaking the law? I'm the most scrutinized man on the planet. Like, if I was breaking laws, I'd be in jail. Trust me. I drive at the speed limit, my friend. That's the level it's got to. Like, they think I'm out here doing bad things. So when an article comes out saying Tate did this, I just pray there's enough people who are outside of the matrix to sit and go, this is some bullshit. And he doesn't deserve this, because I don't deserve it, because I will be innocent.
Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. Their tears taste like ice cream. We ridicule the establishment, and we do so because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you liked what you saw, please click the thumbs up. Please punch, subscribe, and ring the bell to let you know when we have a new video. Don't you want us to let you know when we're live? Please check out more of our videos here and sign up for our mailing list in case something happens and the plug gets pulled. We want to be able to keep in touch with you. My name is Benny Johnson, and thank you for watching. Based Patriots, stay free.